Welcome! I'm Pfarcus.
I'm Widied.
And we are the Ancient Gamers. So join us every Sunday as we do a podcast video, and weekly as new content is added in the form of 15-minute videos, ranging in topics and ideas. Some new, some random, some reoccurring, some sexy. And every now and then, like this video, we will do little experiments. Ah, ha, 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 ha. In this case, we're doing an experiment on the monthly games that interest us for the spooky month of October. October!
What the fuck?
October!
What did I say? Fudge! Alright, so we are here. We are here to bring you, this is October Games.
So, this is the games of October. It's a monthly series. We're going to talk about the video games of every month, the releases that excite us, releases that interest us, releases that stupefy us.
Yeah, just things that we're playing, the games that we're going to aim to play. Maybe games that we'll buy and might go instantly into the backlog. Either way, yeah. That's kind of the aim of this, is just to give you guys a heads up. What's cool, what's not cool in October. Yeah, so we got a list of things right here. And
so G.I. Joe, we're...
yeah, no. So
I mean, maybe it's a good game. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
So from this list, I mean, we both kind of like talked about it already a little bit, just to kind of highlight. But this is just essentially a list of the games that are coming up for the month. Which ones looked interesting to you?
So the first one that interests me is a game called Werewolf: The Apocalypse: Heart of the Forest, which has got to be the most subtitles I have ever seen in a game. Just because I'm a horror freak, I'm curious about it. It releases October 13th, which by the time you are seeing this, it will already be out. I don't know much about it, but just because it's a werewolf game, I am curious. There's not a whole lot of werewolf-y love in the video game world, so it'll be interesting to see what they have in terms of that. The next one that comes across for me is Amnesia Rebirth. I am pumped about this game.
That's a pretty popular game right now. A lot of horror fans are getting excited. The Amnesia series is a well-respected series.
Yeah, it pretty much ushered in the new era of horror video games. One of the things I'm surprised about in this list, though, and we talked about this before, is there's a surprising lack of horror video games for it being the month of October.
Yeah, it's not very... spook-worthy.
There's some big titles for sure, but there's not a long list.
You're getting Amnesia.
So there's Amnesia Rebirth, which I'm pumped about. Not much is really revealed about.
So it's not a remake. It's an actual new game.
It's a new game, cool. Yeah. And not much is really known about it. There's been a few leaks in terms of like the artwork and the vibe that they're going for. It just shows this person kind of going through these Egyptian-like cave caverns and stuff. So I don't really know much about it. It is on pre-order, waiting to be downloaded on my console as we speak, so I will know more, and maybe we'll do a review after it comes out, but that is one of my...
top ones.
Yeah. Doom Eternal's coming out with DLC of the Ancient Gods Part 1. Because it's called the Ancient Gods Part 1, I am assuming there will be a Part 2. I've been following it a little bit. I don't know a lot about what's going on with the Doom Eternal DLC, like what the story will be.
It's Part 1, so there's definitely a Part 2.
I think that was my
That's
logic.
enough. That's all I needed to know. I'm already in.
I have heard reports from the developers that it will actually be harder than the main game.
Okay, developers.
Scares me.
I think the bar was already set pretty... Anyway.
But yeah, I've actually even also heard that it's actually going to be a standalone game. So apparently, even if you don't have Doom Eternal, you can still play Doom Eternal, The Ancient Gods Part 1.
That's cool. That's actually pretty cool. So, the ones... Honestly, this month seemed like a bit of a dry spell for me. There's not a whole lot until next month that I'm super excited for. There are some DLCs. You mentioned one, Doom. The second DLC that I'm kind of quasi-interested in is the Pokemon Sword and Shield. I do have the DLC already for it. I'll probably pop in and check it out. Yeah, and then other than that, on this list, the only other game, I know that you want to talk about Pikmin 3 a little bit, but the one that I'm probably curious about, and I probably just support it regardless of it being a good game, is just Cobra Kai, because I love the Cobra Kai series, so it's badass. And yeah, so I'm gonna probably check out the game as well, just to give my love to that series. I'd wear my shirt right now if I thought about it, but yeah. And the only one is you kind of wanted to talk about Pikmin 3. You thought that was
Well, I've just been curious about the game. I never played Pikmin. I've seen people play it. I remember when the very first Pikmin came out. I think it was the first one. They actually had at McDonald's of all places. They had like a little demo of it. I remember seeing it and kind of liking how it played.
Yep.
And so I'm just kind of curious because I never actually played it. I'd be kind of curious. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the little turnips you can send on to their death march or whatever, however the game plays.
The people that love it. I mean, it's got a huge following, and there's several YouTubers out there that they're waiting for this game, like salivating for it. But for me, Pikmin was never like a giant thing that I was like super interested in. I get it. I probably would like it, but there's just so many games, and it's one that I'll probably not get too interested in. You never know. Depends.
Actually, as
I
we
would
were
say that, but
yeah,
you never know.
As we were looking at this list, there is, spoiler alert, quite a few in next month that we do definitely want to talk about.
I'm super excited, but next month's going to be a big month, so we got some new consoles, I hear.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. There's a bunch of games. We made our decision. We'll probably do a video to reveal those.
Watch out for the unboxing of Doom.
Yeah, and you'll find out who won what. And the other thing I'll just mention here is the game that I'm going to include it in October because it came out technically at the tail end of September, but I've been enjoying it this month, is Genshin Impact. Just a gotcha game, oddly enough. I usually don't get into these. It's free, but it doesn't, demand a lot of money, even like most of them. You can spend a lot of money, but you don't have to enjoy the game, so it's just really a free game, and it's actually surprisingly quite good. Like, I'm enjoying it for a free game, so. Yeah,
me and Widied have actually played quite a bit of it, not enough to like do a review or anything, but enough to just kind of get a feel for it. And for fans of Breath of the Wild, we'd highly recommend it.
Any anime fans would love it. It's definitely plays with the tropes, and it's the beautiful artwork. I mean, they clearly got a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't feel like they do it in a way that they don't add to it or add their own, spin or whatever. It's still interesting. It's a good game. It's fun. It's gotcha, so it's got all those things. If you don't like that style of game, you're probably not going to like this game at least a little bit. And I'm not usually a big fan of those types of games, but I am of this. So there's that. Like it can bridge the gap because it operates in two worlds. For one, it does have gotcha mechanics, but at another thing, it's actually just a game underneath it all that you can just play. So it's interesting.
Well, one of the things I will say about the game is even though it is free to play, it doesn't feel like it shoves the option of spending real money in your face. Like I think I played it probably about 4 hours in, and I've never felt like spending my own money into the game. I never felt like I had to.
Yeah, they give you a lot up front, and I mean, you can, and there's definitely an option, but you don't have to. And for everything that I've read and watched, it says like the whole game can be experienced for free. So, cool game. Check it out. October. That's my pick of the month, I guess.
There's two more games I'd like to talk about. One is coming out pretty much dead smack on Halloween, which is a little game called Little Hope.
Sounds like a fun place.
Funnily enough, Little Hope does have an interesting and dark history.
It's part of the Dark Pictures anthology, which anybody who played Until Dawn or Until Dawn Rush of Blood, or...
it was part of that?
It's part of the similar universe, yeah. Actually, the first Dark Pictures game officially was Man of Medan, which played a lot like those other games. And Little Hope, I don't know much about it because, again, they're being secretive, kind of like Amnesia. Mm-hmm. For obvious reasons, there's a mystery element of the game. Looks like it takes place kind of like a Roanoke kind of era, with witches and that kind of mysterious disappearances and whatnot. I do know Until Dawn and Man of Medan both played surprisingly fun party type game where anybody can chime in.
Do you know if this one's like that?
As far as I know, it is. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd play that. We could play that actually as a group.
Well, as once it down, because that's also pre-ordered on my console as we speak. So it's horror, of course. And another game, actually, that's not horror that I also wanted to talk about that was released in October. I actually ended up getting it for my birthday. Is a little game called Squadrons.
Yeah, that was cool. That's cool. Yeah, I forgot to mention that one.
I'm really fond of that game. Basically, for anybody who knows the Star Wars universe, you basically fly as either the Republic or the Rebellion, and you kind of go back and forth. And you can play it multiplayer, but another aspect of it that excites me a lot is that you can play it VR. So the idea of jumping into a TIE fighter in VR...
That's the most worthwhile thing. Like, I was never a big proponent of VR, but this guy talked me into coming over and trying it. It's pretty badass. Like, it's awesome. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so the idea that you can just sit in the cockpit and do barrel rolls in a TIE will make you sick, by the way, but it's also awesome.
Actually, when you were playing it, I remember you had to stop and you're like, but you gotta go left. And like, you were just like, I can't go left.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like, there was 2 or 3 times I'd be driving and I was being cocky. I was trying to go as fast and be cool. Like, and then all of a sudden, like, there's one point, go left. I'm like, I can't. And he's like, no, you gotta go left. I'm like, if I go left right now, I'm going to puke. But your body does acclimate. Like, I got used to it, and then I was like, fine, even going at weird speeds and stuff. But that's what it is for me with VR. That initial oomph is like, you gotta get past that one barrel of puke that could come out.
So that's our October games that we're either excited for or curious about.
Exactly, yeah. Good list of stuff, although not as good as next one. On that note, like,
Comment!
Subscribe.